All right, let's go to the other side of the Knicks-Raptors trade and talk about the Raptors and the debuts of Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday, recording this today on a Tuesday. I know the Raptors have a game tomorrow, but I feel like a lot of my points and my opinions that I'm going to have and say will remain the same. But let's look into this game yesterday, because I think, given the circumstances, because RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley were both in foul trouble. Immanuel Quickley had 4 fouls by the end of the first half yesterday. I think the debuts went pretty well considering, but more importantly, I think it showed exactly what, one, the Raptors have been missing going all the way back to last season, and 2, what these two players can bring for the Raptors moving forward. Just immediately right off the bat, I mean, the first bucket of the game, you get an RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl pick and roll, and it's a kick out to Immanuel Quickley for a 3. I think Immanuel Quickley's pull-up shooting, his ability to shoot off of pull-ups, off the catch, and in transition just does wonders for the Raptors half-court offense. Yesterday was the smoothest I've seen the Raptors half-court offense in a minute now, and just the fact that you have somebody with that skill set again, because Fred VanVleet had that skill too, the ability to just pull up from deep, but Immanuel Quickley provides more zip, more speed, more darting to the basket. His playmaking is definitely going to be something to monitor, but he is a savvy pick and roll player when he wants to score, but he had a few nice dishes. He had one to Jakob Poeltl in the pick and roll. And look, I wasn't a fan of the Jakob Poeltl trade. I think it was you were basically just lighting assets on fire. But if you're just talking about wanting to develop quickly and seeing how his playmaking is going to be developed in Toronto, Jakob Poeltl's a pretty good pick and roll partner for both Barrett and for Quickley. And that was the other thing. The Raptors just had multiple guards that could just get downhill and get to the basket. RJ Barrett had a couple of bullying type of drives. There was one drive where I think it was Isaac Okoro, but he basically did a slow Euro and kind of used his shoulder to move Okoro out of the way. He also drew a lot of fouls. He took 8 free throws. And that is one thing, if I were to point something good about RJ Barrett, because I am a RJ Barrett stockholder to my detriment probably, is that he can draw a lot of fouls. He's like I believe he's like in the 80th percentile when it comes to drawing shooting fouls per cleaning the glass. That is one thing he can do, and that is one thing the Raptors have kind of sorely lacked. I mean, Dennis Schroeder can only do so much. He's a rotational nice guard. Dennis Schroeder has had a nice year, but there's just an element of downhill attacking that RJ Barrett immediately brought to the Raptors yesterday, even though he only played 30 minutes, again, because he had 5 fouls, got in foul trouble along with Quickley. But that is something that can be an immediate boost for the Raptors. And then Quickley himself, I mean, he shot 5 of 13 yesterday, only made 2 threes, but you could just see his type of skill set is going to be a shot in the arm for the Raptors. The pull-up shooting, the quickness, the ability to get around screens on the defensive end of the court. He also displayed his floater game a little bit. And I'm sure as the season goes on, there's going to be more two-man game between Quickley and Barnes, just because I just see their skill sets fitting off of each other so well, especially now with Barnes' improved three-point shooting. And you could kind of use Barnes' versatility to, maybe have Quickley set a screen for Barnes, where Barnes doesn't have to operate on the post a lot, and he can operate more from the perimeter because Quickley and Barrett can just set screens for each other. I think as the year goes on, Quickley and Barrett are just going to make things easier for him. Just somebody to take the pressure off of Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam while he is still here. And then in transition, you just have multiple options. You don't know who's going to grab the rebound and go, grab the rebound and outlet it up to somebody filling a lane. Like Scotty Barnes can finally fill a lane now. Pascal Siakam can fill a lane. And you just have threats on the court at all times off of a live dribble. And it was just more free-flowing. It made a lot more sense. It wasn't as clunky. I'm sure there are going to be some rough patches. It was brief, but the Raptors went with a Dennis Schroeder, Immanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett lineup. The Raptors can kind of do that now. There's a little bit more versatility as opposed to the clunky fit of OG Anunoby being your third best player, along with Siakam, and then the future, which is obviously Scotty Barnes. There is multiple guys that can do two-man game with each other. RJ Barrett and Jalen Brunson kind of had a nice two-man game in New York. There's just a lot more things the Raptors can do now thanks to this trade. Cost-controlled young players. Even though I would personally value picks a little bit more, if there was a player I would target, it's Immanuel Quickley. And I do have a bold proclamation I want to make about Immanuel Quickley, because I have always been high on Immanuel Quickley, and I just think the Raptors have found themselves a diamond in the rough, a potential cornerstone type of guy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Quickley will be a superstar or anything like that, but he can definitely be a cornerstone guard for the Raptors, and I imagine that restricted free agency contract, the dollars per year, I don't think is going to be outrageous. I actually think that contract's going to be a steal, and I look at somebody like a Kobe White in Chicago, floater, pull-up game, quick off the dribble, quick off the bounce, can also operate off the ball because of their shooting, and then signs a very cheap contract. Then he gets all this opportunity this season, and he has expanded his role, and now it looks like, oh shit, Kobe White might actually be a guy. What level of guy, I don't know, but all I know is he has a very useful and very good skill set, and I could see this exact thing for Quickley. He has to definitely show that his playmaking can improve, but I think with this new situation in Toronto, he's going to have more opportunity to do that, and he'll have players to play with to help accentuate his skill set, especially since the Raptors are going to build around Scotty Barnes. Now what's going to be interesting for the Raptors moving forward is which team are they going to trade Pascal Siakam to, because if they are aiming to get cost-controlled players and try to basically, not repeat what they did last year, which was let Fred VanVleet walk and then make a dumb trade for Jakob Poeltl. You trade OG Anunoby away, you get some value back. What are you going to get for Siakam? Are you going to trade him to the Hawks and poach some of those wings over there in Atlanta? Are you going to maybe trade him to the Warriors and get some of their young and cost-controlled players? Because now it's kind of we need to start rebuilding and building around Scotty, and I just don't see any way Pascal fits the timeline for the Raptors here. And I just think Immanuel Quickley is a really good get, one of those nice hiding in plain sight, really good guards. If you look at Immanuel Quickley's per 36 numbers, he was averaging 22, 4, and 4. If you're able to see what you get out of Immanuel Quickley during this season and in the seasons moving forward, you could have yourself a nice cornerstone type of player to play off of your future franchise player. And I think you can throw RJ Barrett in that category of just someone who is, I think, going to be good moving forward with maybe a new situation, being able to attack downhill more. Maybe there is still something to carve out there. He's only 23 years old. I don't know. I really like this trade on the Raptors' end. They could have gotten more value if they had traded OG Anunoby a year sooner, but given the circumstances and the type of player I think Immanuel Quickley will be, the Knicks-Raptors trade might be one of the better win-win deals that we have seen in a long time.